Hi everyone, it is certainly my pleasure to bring greetings to the AUMA Mayor's Caucus on behalf of Municipal Affairs and the Government of Alberta. I wish I could be there to speak to you in person, but as you know, I'm currently on the road talking with Albertans about the Modernized Municipal Government Act, as well as working closely with the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo to help Fort McMurray residents resettle and get back on their feet after that devastating wildfire. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak with you via video about our proposed amendments to the MGA. As I've mentioned previously, this act is one of Alberta's largest and most complex pieces of legislation. The last major review of this important legislation was completed over 2 decades ago and does not reflect new economic realities, changes in technology, or evolving municipal roles and responsibilities. You are at the grassroots of creating stronger, more dynamic communities, and our government knows that you need robust, forward-looking legislation in order to do that. Following in-depth reviews and consultations, we are proposing changes in 4 main areas: fostering regional partnerships to best serve Albertans, building better, more complete communities, supporting small business and increasing industry competitiveness, and enhancing municipal accountability. These are broad-reaching goals, and due to the complexity of the legislation and the activities it governs, knowing exactly what these changes will mean to you, Alberta's municipalities, can be difficult, which is why my ministry, myself, and other government MLAs are currently on a 20-community tour seeking feedback on our proposed amendments. It's also why I'm sharing more information with you today. I want to dispel any misunderstandings and help clarify any points of confusion. For example, on the tour there have been a lot of questions about the proposed intermunicipal collaboration frameworks. Our government values the autonomy of local decision makers. After all, these are your communities, and you have the best sense of how to effectively serve them. But we also believe very strongly that some services clearly have regional benefits, and so municipalities should come together and work together to fund those services. We know that there are some great partnerships in some regions, but we also know that in other regions those relationships are not working, and as a result, resources are not being used efficiently. Through the amendments we've put forward this spring, we are making working with your neighbors as part of core business for municipalities. And we're not prepared to leave this purely as a voluntary approach, because the voluntary approach is not working in too many parts of Alberta. I acknowledge that building these new frameworks is going to take some effort, but the effort is primarily in getting together to have the discussion. Where you identify services of regional benefit, you need to talk about them, and you need to reach agreement on how to deliver and fund those services. Where you agree there is no regional benefit, or that there's already a good system in place, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can simply note that you've covered off that item and no further work is needed on that front. I do believe this move to mandatory intermunicipal collaboration frameworks is one of the most important changes in the MGA. We're looking forward to working with you to make this work for all communities and all Albertans. From smaller communities, we've also heard some concerns about our move to require all municipalities to adopt municipal development plans, or MDPs. During the MGA review, municipalities told us that these plans would help municipalities with long-term planning regardless of population size. This was an item that all stakeholders in our focus group process supported. We believe that all municipalities need to be able to do at least basic planning for the future of their community. But we also recognize that this may pose a bit of a capacity challenge for some smaller municipalities. So we're committed to working with AUMA and AAMD&C to build some toolkits and templates that will help municipalities to meet that requirement. I also want you to know that these do not have to be complicated plans. They are intended to be a guide for future land use expectations, as well as a way for municipalities to facilitate local planning and economic growth. They help identify future development possibilities and facilitate a conversation about basic planning within a municipality. We're confident that with the support of our ministry and the municipal associations, building an MDP should not be an overwhelming task for any Alberta municipality. During some of our summer tour stops, we also encountered questions about our efforts to build complete communities. Some of you have raised concerns about inclusionary housing and off-site levies, including concerns that these will only benefit larger urban areas. You said calculating the 30% benefit clause could prove challenging. We recognize that calculations like this can be difficult to pin down, so we will be looking for your help on this matter as we move forward in developing the regulations. The principles and criteria for off-site levies regulation will be amended to include the degree of benefit for additional uses, the calculation process for the original uses of off-site levies, and the definitions for each of the proposed new uses. We'll be looking to AUMA to play a key role in helping develop this draft regulation, as your expertise will be indispensable. Some have pointed out that these levies have the potential to increase costs to those buying homes in new developments, as developers will likely pass on any new costs to their consumers. This may be true to a limited extent, but someone needs to pay for the cost of those facilities, and new communities need amenities like libraries, fire halls, police stations, and recreation facilities. And it makes sense for those who will be using those services to pay their share of the associated costs. Many have also suggested that the scope of such off-site levies should be further expanded to include things like schools and public parks. We want to create a good balance between funding services that benefit new developments with funding services that benefit all residents within a municipality. So we will continue to collect feedback and perspectives on this section of the bill to make sure we get that balance right. I know that there have also been a lot of questions raised around things like the proposed linkage between residential and non-residential property tax rates, and about the idea of creating new subclasses in the non-residential property class, so municipalities can apply different tax rates against different classes, just like you do in the residential class right now. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you on these and other issues as our summer engagement tour continues. I know some of you are dissatisfied that the Modernized Municipal Government Act did not legislate a formula for provincial transfers to municipalities. I want to assure you that our government recognizes the importance of a stable, long-term, predictable funding for communities in Alberta. As you know, our MSI agreements are set to expire in the next 12 months, and I'm committed to having conversations with you about how to move forward. You are our partners, and I value the relationship our government has with you. I want to see that strong relationship continue, which is why I will listen intently to this and other concerns going forward. I am proud to be talking with you about our proposed changes today, but they are just a first draft. I want to continue to hear your feedback on our proposed amendments to the MGA, and based on your feedback, we will make the changes necessary before the legislature completes debate of the bill. I've already seen some of you at our town hall meetings, and I encourage you to continue to share your thoughts at our summer tour sessions. We also look forward to receiving input through our online survey and messages sent directly to Alberta Municipal Affairs. The responses and interest we've received so far help focus the work that still needs to be done. We also look forward to roundtable meetings with the AUMA and other key stakeholders to hone the amendments and the regulations that will accompany them. Your questions and concerns are ensuring that we make the legislation as transparent and effective as possible. I assure you that the regulations we produce with your help will be posted for public review in early 2017 for more feedback. Thank you to all the members of the AUMA Mayor's Caucus and to all those who have provided their input on this legislation thus far. I want you to know I'm listening. I look forward to continuing to work with you over the summer as we fine-tune the MGA to make sure it is a modern, responsive piece of legislation that gives Alberta's municipalities the tools that you need to build strong communities and a more resilient and diversified economy for Alberta families. Thank you.